Teacher Linda Clark has said goodbye to pupils after teaching at a school in Higham Ferrers for 26 years. Mrs. Clark went to work at Higham Ferrers Nursery and Infant School in 1985, after teaching in Staffordshire and at Southend School in Rushden. She was only covering for a member of staff who had gone on maternity leave, but ended up staying for more than 2.5 decades. Mrs. Clark, 62, of Pipers Hill Road, Kettering, has retired from her position of teaching Year 2 pupils and was given gifts and cards by her pupils as she said goodbye to them on Friday. Mrs. Clark said she had grown fond of the school and of the local families she had seen pass through it over the years she had been teaching at Higham. She said, "I've enjoyed seeing all the children develop and seeing the different families going through the school. I have taught some of the parents of the children who are now coming through the school, so I feel really attached to the school and to Higham." Mrs. Clark said she had seen many changes at the school in Wharf Road over the years, including members of staff coming and going, and physical changes being made around the building. She said, "I've always been quite happy at the school. I've seen a lot of changes. The school used to be a lot smaller. We have had 3 classrooms built. The mobile classrooms have gone, and what was the school canteen is now the nursery. I think I've seen about 4 or 5 different head teachers. I will absolutely miss the children, and I will miss my colleagues. It's a really lovely, supportive school to work in. I would like to thank all my colleagues and the present acting head teacher, Joe Hutchinson, for making life lovely." Despite retiring, Mrs. Clark is still set to spend her time with children, as she'll be spending her retirement looking after her 5.5-month-old grandson, Fraser.
Talented young dancers will represent the United Kingdom in the Hip Hop World Championships. A team of 30 young movers from Dance Vibes Academy, which holds classes in the Conservative Club in Rushden, will be travelling to Graz, Austria in October for the 5-day contest. Teams Gravity, Bliss, Watt and Seven made it through to face the best dancers from across the world after competing in the UK street dance finals at the O2 Arena in London earlier this month. Steph Massey, head principal of Dance Vibes Academy, said, "They are really excited to have so many going as a group. 4 teams is a real achievement. It will be a whole coachload going. You have the best from each country going. Some countries like Japan and New Zealand have a national squad. We started 5 years ago, and since then this type of dancing has been getting more and more popular." Bradley Gascoigne, 12, of Higham Ferrers, is part of the under-16 boys team Gravity, which has qualified. Bradley has won praise from his teachers at Bedford Modern School. School media and communications assistant Sonia Kendrick said Bradley spends most of his time singing and dancing and trains over 6 hours each week in classical dance as well as street dance and break dance. The youngsters are trained by Zach Dubisani, who is a world champion in both hip-hop and electric boogie. To find out more, visit the website www.dancevibes.com. That is DANCEVYBZ.com.
Controversial plans which would have led to fewer buses visiting a new outpatients clinic have been rejected. Thousands of people in Rushden and Higham Ferrers opposed plans to move Kettering General Hospital's outpatient services from Rushden to a new building at Nen Park, Irthlingborough. The plan was approved by East Northamptonshire Council on the condition the developers paid for a bus service to and from Rushden and Higham Ferrers to the site every half hour, from 30 minutes before the clinic opens at 8 a.m. to 30 minutes after the last appointment at about 6:30 p.m. for 5 years. The developer asked the council to amend the condition so fewer services would run to the site, but the authority has refused. Development Control Committee Vice Chairman, Councillor Jill Mercer, said, Our concern was people in Higham Ferrers and Rushden would have to get across the A45 Chowns Mill roundabout to get to it. The original application for the development was approved on the basis there would be a bus service every 30 minutes. They need to work harder to provide the service. If the changes had been approved, the first bus between Mondays and Saturdays would have entered the site at 8:52 a.m., a half-hourly service would have run until mid-afternoon, and from 7 minutes past 4 in the afternoon to 7 minutes past 7 in the evening. There would have been an hourly service entering the site. There would also have been an hour between the 6:14 p.m. service leaving the site and the last bus at 7:14 p.m. The developer said there were difficulties providing a half-hourly service all day because buses have to be available for school children. Since the clinic opened this year, the developer has been paying Rushden-based charity Serve to provide an interim service. Former nurse Mary Jackson of Rushden, who was against the clinic moving to Irthlingborough, said, "If they said they were going to provide the service, they need to do it."
Thousands of homes are to be fitted with water meters in a multi-million-pound scheme to save customers money and cut water use. Work to fit meters outside around 7,000 homes in Kettering, Wellingborough, Rushden and dozens of smaller towns and villages in the north of the county, including Higham Ferrers, Irchester, Desborough, Irthlingborough and Thrapston, is due to start at the end of June. Customers will receive letters about the pay-as-you-flow scheme in the next few weeks and would not be charged for the meters, which Anglia Water officials say will save families on an average of £100 a year. There will be no obligation for people to have a metered water supply, and those who join the scheme will be able to opt out within the first 2 years. Anglia Water aims to install around 183,000 metres across the region by 2015. A company spokesman said, "It may seem odd that a water company actually wants people to use less water and charge them less, but we are serious about it. We don't want customers to pay for a drop more than they use. In this region we actually get less rain each year than Jerusalem, so being water efficient really matters." Using less water also lowers electricity bills, which means you're reducing your carbon footprint as well as the amount you pay for your water and electricity. Millions of people in the region are already seeing the benefits, but millions more could be saving money. Customers who decide not to take part in the scheme will be sent information allowing them to compare their bills with what they would have been charged if their water supply had been metered. In August, the Anglia Water region marked 20 years without a hosepipe ban, despite several periods of drought and a huge growth in population. The spokesman said, "We want to help our customers make the most of the water they use and show that efficiency really makes a difference. It's a case of saving for a not-so-rainy day." Carol Atter, 69, of Windsor Road, Wellingborough, asked to have a water meter fitted 5 weeks ago. She said, "I was paying £50 a month and now expect to be paying around £15 a month, and I'm really pleased. Savings really depend on how large a family is." For more details about the metering programme, call Anglia Water's meter installation team on 0845 850 5852.
The love of a farmer and cakes has led to a new lifestyle for one woman. Amanda Keane moved from Liverpool to Wollaston to live with her farmer boyfriend and now runs Kringle Cottage Cakes, making and decorating cakes. She said, "I worked for a catering firm in Liverpool before, but had wanted to run my own business for several years. I love making cakes, and I now have a large farmhouse kitchen, so it seemed like the ideal time. I didn't really have to buy much equipment, and I'm using a mix of recipes I've used for years. Ones my granny passed on to me, and new ones that I try out on my boyfriend and the farmer down the road. The most popular wedding cakes now are chocolate sponge and lemon. People just have a token fruit cake for their older relatives. It's a shame, as I love fruit cake. I also do celebration cakes and have just made one decorated with tweenies, and I've made one with a footballing Elvis on top. Lots of people seem to have a wheat intolerance nowadays, so I do celiac and vegan cakes too. Amanda, 28, said, "People who want to start their own business should just go for it." She added, "The hardest part is getting started. I'd put it off for years because I had a job and that felt so safe. One day I decided I just had to do it. It seemed to be going well. I've done a lot of door-to-door leafleting, and I had an open day for brides so they could come and give me some feedback on what they want. I haven't had any disasters here so far, but when I worked in Liverpool, a dog ran off with a profiterole tower. We were unloading the van at a house, and when we looked round, the owner's dog was running away with the tower. One of us had to rush back and make another one." For more, see the website www.kringlecottagecakes.co.uk.